Have you ever felt like every door you open in life only leads to disappointment? You put in the effort, you try again and again, but every time you push forward, it feels like life just slams the door in your face. After a while, you start to wonder, maybe success isn't meant for me. Maybe I'm just chasing the wrong path. But what if I told you that sometimes the wrong door isn't really wrong at all? What if the very mistake you regret the most could actually guide you toward the future you were always meant to live? Today, I want to share with you a story. It may sound like a simple fable, but inside it lies a powerful truth. A story about a young man, his search for answers, and one strange, broken door that changed everything. And the last thing he discovered will absolutely surprise you. So stay until the end, because the final lesson could change the way you see your failures forever. In a quiet village surrounded by rolling hills lived a young man named Eli. From childhood, Eli carried a heavy shadow, the shadow of failure. No matter what he tried, things always seemed to go wrong. When he worked in the fields, the crops withered. When he tried fishing, the nets came back empty. When he helped build houses, the walls he touched would collapse. The people in his village whispered behind his back, "Poor Eli, nothing he touches ever works." Their words cut deep, but Eli's spirit refused to die. Somewhere inside him, he believed there must be a door, one right path, that would lead him out of failure and into a future worth living. One day, Eli overheard a group of travelers speaking. They told of an ancient temple hidden high in the mountains, known as the Temple of Doors. Legend said the temple held many doors, but only one would lead to a person's true future. The rest would only test the heart. Eli's heart lit up. He knew he had to find it. Eli packed a small bag of bread and water and set off before sunrise. The mountain path was steep and cruel. Sharp rocks tore at his sandals. Roots tangled across his way, pulling him down again and again. The wind howled through the trees, and shadows danced as if mocking him. Yet with every stumble, Eli rose again. He thought of the villagers who mocked him, of all his failures, and he whispered to himself, "If there is one true door, I will find it." Days turned into weeks. His body grew thin, his clothes torn, but his spirit stayed strong. Finally, after what felt like forever, Eli reached the peak. There, standing in silence, was the Temple of Doors. Its walls were old stone, cracked with age, yet powerful. The wooden gates creaked open as if expecting him. Inside was a long hallway lined with doors, hundreds of them. Some golden, some painted bright, some scarred, some nearly falling apart. Eli's heart pounded. One of these must be mine, he thought. He stepped forward, unaware of the trials awaiting him. The first door that caught his eye shone like the sun. Covered in golden paint and carvings, it promised wealth and glory. This must be it, Eli thought with hope. With trembling hands, he pushed it open. Inside, the room glowed bright at first, but within moments, the light dimmed. The walls were bare, the floor covered only in dust. Nothing, only emptiness. Eli's shoulders sank. "A trick," he muttered. His first door was a disappointment. As he walked further, Eli heard laughter and music behind a painted door. He smiled for the first time. Maybe this door will bring me joy. He pushed it open and was hit with the sound of celebration. Flutes, drums, voices singing. For a heartbeat, his heart danced. But as he stepped inside, the sound faded. The room was hollow, echoing with his own footsteps. Cobwebs clung to the corners. He stood in silence. The laughter he thought was real was nothing but an illusion. Loneliness filled the space. Eli left, his chest heavier than before. Another door gleamed with jewels across its frame. Gold sparkled around the edges. Eli gasped. Could this be it? My fortune? He pushed it wide, and piles of treasure lay inside. Mountains of gold coins, gems shining like stars. Eli's eyes widened in awe. He stepped forward, reaching out, and his hand passed through the gold as if through air. It was only a mirage. The floor beneath him cracked. With a cry, he barely leapt back in time before the ground collapsed into a dark pit. His heart raced. That door almost killed me. Now his hope was trembling. Shaken, Eli saw another door, this one carved with crowns and thrones. His heart whispered, "Maybe power is my path." He opened it and stepped into a grand hall. A throne of silver sat in the center, draped with velvet. He approached, daring to sit. As soon as he touched it, the walls around him turned cold stone. The throne dissolved. Chains clanged shut around the room. He was alone in an empty prison cell. No crown, no power, only walls closing in. Eli pounded on the door, panic in his chest. When the door finally gave way, he staggered out, pale and trembling. Power is nothing but another trap. Door after door, hope drained from Eli. He opened dozens more, each leading to emptiness, illusions, or silence. His legs weakened, his spirit cracked. Finally, he collapsed against a wall, tears stinging his eyes. Every door is wrong. Every choice I make is failure. Maybe life has no future for me. He buried his face in his hands. His journey felt wasted. He was ready to give up. If you think Eli should give up, hit like now. But wait, because what happens next will surprise you even more. As Eli sat broken on the floor, his eyes wandered down the hallway. At the very end stood a small, cracked wooden door. Unlike the others, it had no gold, no jewels, no carvings, just old wood rotting at the edges. He almost laughed bitterly. That door? It's ugly, useless, another wrong choice. But something inside whispered, "One more try." With the last of his strength, Eli pushed it open. The hinges creaked, resisting. Light did not pour out. Treasure did not gleam. Instead, beyond the doorway stretched a narrow path leading down the mountain. Curious, Eli stepped through. The path wound into a valley where he discovered a small village, poorer than his own. Children with hungry eyes stared at him. Their homes were broken, their fields barren. Eli's heart shifted. For the first time, he didn't think of himself. He stayed. He helped rebuild their homes, taught the children to read and write, and shared every lesson his failures had taught him. What began as a mistake became his purpose. Years later, the villagers called him the man who turned wrong doors into hope. Eli finally understood. The broken door, the one that seemed useless, was not wrong at all. It was the door that opened his right future. Eli's story reminds us of something we often forget. The wrong doors in life are not punishments. They are guides. Each failure, each disappointment, each rejection is not the end. It is a step. It is a teacher. The golden doors of wealth, joy, and power all collapsed for Eli. But those very failures pushed him to the one door that mattered. The cracked, broken door, the one he nearly ignored, was the only door that led him to his true purpose. And isn't life the same for us? We chase money, recognition, power, and when those doors slam shut, we feel like failures. But maybe those doors are supposed to close. Maybe they are meant to guide us towards something greater than ourselves. The truth is this: the wrong door can open the right future. Your mistakes don't define you. Your failures don't destroy you. They are shaping you, preparing you, pointing you toward the place where you truly belong. So the next time you face a wrong door, don't give up. Push forward, because just like Eli, you may find that the very door you thought was worthless is the one that changes everything. If this story gave you hope, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because sometimes the story you hear today may be the door that opens your tomorrow.